we have to talk about Mutran and Vican. What a cool set! I do love a good 2-pack. In this video, let's discuss the nice selection of pieces that come in this set, and see how you could use them to build your own Bionicle creations. Afterwards, we'll have a nice little chat about a few revamps of Mutran and Vican, and we'll marvel at just how awesome these creations really are. But before we do all of that, let's talk about what makes this set awesome. First things first, we have to talk about this claw design. This thing is posable, the design itself is also a very clever little technique, but on top of all of that, he can still also hold on to weapons, which might seem really trivial, but that's not something that every single hand design can do. You know, I'm just such a sucker for designs like this. I remember playing and posing with this hand design for hours when I was a kid. These hands are just so expressive and they add so much to this character. The taller and more like imposing bat-like design of Mutran, it's sensational. This really is the perfect aesthetic for a Makuta. Of course though, in this set you also get Vican, his lab assistant, his companion. He's great. I mean, check out these sick looking claws, as well as this sensational mask. Now, if you're familiar with this wave of sets, the Fantoka wave, of course you'll know that Chirox and Kurop, they share the same masks as Mutran and Vican. But of course, the lime it's changed out for silver. Now, even as a kid, I never really saw this as lazy. Yeah, maybe there could be an argument that these masks should have been their own unique designs. Because these two characters, they're not like related or anything. They're just friends. So why do they have pretty much the same face? That's an argument you could make, but I don't know. Seeing this mask be recycled and reused in a brand new color, it felt really similar to the old classic Bionicle mask packs that we used to get. Because inside they gave us all of the Turaga masks and all of the Toa masks in brand new colors. And that opened up so many avenues for making MOCs. It was really exciting. I feel that same level of excitement about these masks. It's the same thing but in a brand new color. It's like finding a shiny Pokemon. It feels rare, it feels exclusive, it feels special. I mean, the set itself was actually a limited edition set. The rarity of these characters and the rarity of their exclusive pieces, it's so exciting, it's so enticing. There's a real prestige to this set, a real feeling of exclusivity and specialness. And I think that's why I love it so much. The pieces that come in this set, well, they're pretty nice as well. Let's see what we get and how you could use them in your own MOCs. I mentioned before those Wolverine-style claws that come on Vican. Now, of course, these look phenomenal as claws, but how else could you use this piece? Well, Purple Boy Bonks, they've included them in a revamp of Nuparu Mari. Now, these are just placed on the shoulders, but I think that's very clever. Why? Well, not only is it a really good way to armor up the arms, but it also just adds a little bit of spice. You know, spikes sticking out of shoulders? That's so rock and roll. And on top of that, you know, of course, Nuparu Anika, the previous form of this character, he had these same claw pieces on his hands. Nice bit of consistency there. Actually, while we're on the subject of that, the orange additions to this character, they're a bit of a throwback to the original version of Nuparu when he was just a Matoran. It's nice that these pieces work for multiple reasons, and they're nice little callbacks to previous versions of the character. Good way to use these claws. Mutran's torso uses this ribcage piece in silver. Now, this is a piece that could kind of move and stretch because it allowed you to grasp onto the Tridax pod or launch it out. And when you did, a bunch of shadow leeches came out that could corrupt Matoran and Toa. It was a fun play feature. Eclipse Caller continues to use this piece for a ribcage design, but they're taking advantage of the fact that this piece has that kind of stretchable quality to it. And as a result, the ribcage is kind of wrapped around the edges of this belly, and it helps to create some really nice shaping. Sensational. And hey, while we're talking about Tridax pods, of course, you get one of those in this set. What could you do with this unique element? Well, Bionicles uses this to make their own version of Antros. Now take a look at this eye design. It's of course using this piece to create a kind of Eye of Sauron style face. Now look, this is a pretty big departure from the original version of Antros as he appeared in his set. But there's no denying that that eye design is super unique and really creative. You could totally build the exact same thing, but put it on your own unique creation. Vican comes with this little prefab torso piece, and Mitch Henry, they use it on a MOC here called Rockjaw. We can see two of the torso pieces on both of the hands, as well as one on the torso. Yeah, the cool thing about this piece is the way that it's shaped. The upper section has a little bit of a bend to it, and Mitch takes full advantage of that and creates this very uniquely shaped creature. So look, if you want to make something that sits at a more unique angle, then this piece is going to be a big help. That angle is just built into that piece. You don't have to do any kind of clever techniques or weird shenanigans with your parts. You just got to use this. Sometimes oddly shaped pieces like this are going to be your best friend. And finally, Mutran's wing pieces. What could we do with those? Well, old mate Corvin, they use this piece on a mock called Mythosix. Now, these aren't being used as wings, instead they're being used as some sort of blade or spike that's on the end of these extra limbs. Doesn't that just look awesome? It's a very creative way of using this piece. I love it. So that's the way that you can use the elements and pieces that are included in this set. Now, let's take a look at a few revamps of Mutran and Vican. Doomspawn starts us off with a mock called Makuta Mutrax. Now, the idea behind this mock is that both Mutran and Churox, they've fused together into this all-powerful being. I love that idea, and I love the execution of this mock. I mean, look at these shoulders. A big, buffed-up, spiky lime green collar with green flames stemming out of it. That looks dope. Also, this new wing design, the digitigrade legs that they've got down here, and a massive height increase for this character. All of that produces something that's truly menacing and very frightening. And we do like to see those qualities in a Makuta. How good's this staff as well? The bent angle of it, the use of that Skrull weapon piece at the end. This really does have some nice kind of like final boss vibes to it. And also, what a fun idea to merge two characters together and use a bunch of other pieces to turn them into something spectacular. Care Creations has revamped Mutran. And dude, how good does this new cape look? The hood over the mask, the way that the cloth just flows down the waist and the legs. He looks like a Sith Lord. Another nice addition is the changes to the torso. Placing this clawed foot piece over the top of the orange Tridax pod. That's a nice way of advancing on the older torso design, but still keeping it looking relatively similar. They've also revamped Vican as well, and he looks like a bit of a monstrosity now. Crazy limbs, spikes everywhere, but you know, in the lore of Bionicle, Mutran, he's a bit of a mad scientist. He experiments on creatures, he does all sorts of unethical science. So it kind of makes sense that Vican would look a little bit like a horrifying experiment, because I'm sure Mutran would want to do that sort of stuff to his little pet. I think that's a cool idea. And one that ties into the backstory, which is always nice. And finally, here is Ig's version of Mutran. Now, the first thing that really grabbed me about this was the use of some dark tan pieces. We can see one of the printed armor pieces that came on the Ultra Build set for Finn. I don't know, the injection of a new color here, it just works, and it works well. We can see a few more dark tan pieces, specifically some claws, up here on the torso. Those look brilliant. Perfect for a Makuta. And how good do these new updated wings look? What a stunning design. Mate, how good is this? Now there we have it, folks. That's a few insanely good revamps of Mutran and Vican, and that's a few different ways that you could use the pieces that come in this set. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope you enjoyed the mocks that I showcased. If you did, check the links in the description below. You can see more from those builders right there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.